are here this morning. We have been very honored.
There is some space if you could just move morning tea, but before that.
Nisa Bulavinaka, and a very good morning to you all. Thank you, Mr. Singh, for those words. I'm sure it's going to take me further down the track in ensuring that I'm able to fulfill my responsibilities as a women minister for the country. And thank you indeed for the invitation extended to me to officiate during your conference here this morning. To all our visitors from abroad in the region, once again welcome to Fiji. And it is my hope and wish that you enjoy the Fijian hospitality that we are known for, and your stay here with us be a memorable one. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation with the Fijian government, such considerations given to our ministry to be part of your conference indeed reflects a lot on the strong insight in your organization. It also shows that you have within your thinking that having greater dialogue and setting actions will bring about positive changes, as mentioned, while we are still trying to fight out the battle of gender violence and gender discrimination within our region. I'm sure we all know that no matter how well executed, we all know that when we execute our campaigns, when we execute our strategies, we are indeed heading towards celebrations. And that is also required in our fight for gender, in gender battles. Again, as mentioned, Fijians, not only in our nation, but abroad, are still reeling with the joys and happiness after our 7th team struck gold in Rio. And now we are indeed the superpower in 7th rugby, and that too in the furthest corners of the planet. Of course, Fiji's profile has been lifted in the global arena. The win has brought in a fresh revival of civic pride, patriotism and unity across all our cultures and community alike. And this indicates the fact that with unity, any cause can be achieved, any good cause can be achieved. And of course, having this conference during this celebration mood in Fiji reminds us of the fact that gold in Rio was won through determination, hard work and unity. Your theme for the conference, Campaigning Together for Change and Justice, obviously will require a very similar approach. It has to be that, so that we can celebrate the elimination of violence of our women, girls and children. You'd also agree with me, for far too long, the scourge of violence against women and girls and children has been left unattended to the professionals. And like your secretary said, we all have a part to play in that. Fiji currently has energized its effort to battle the violence. And our ministry is taking a lead role in that. And I'm proud to say that a leader ministry that is taken a very, very lead role in fighting violence against our women. Our statistics stand very high in the region, 64%, which is very high. And if we do not unite to fight against this now, Mr. Singh, I'm sure we'll be living in a society, like you said, which will not be fair to both the sexes. And we do know that it is not just the violence against women, it's about violence against children, and children are equally part of any family that goes through this. It is about a violent family life that affects the upbringing of our children, and that is where we educators come in, as children spend more time with us in schools, in classrooms, away from their homes. And we also believe that it is this violence that can drive families into poverty, it can drive individuals into mental disorders, and to the point of fatalities and even loss of lives that we have currently started seeing in Fiji. Recently we've had some lives lost due to violent attitudes that exist within our families. But again, the battle is not for each individual. The battle has to be done on a united front. It requires collective effort between governments, non-government organizations, faith-based organizations, civil society organizations, individuals, and of course at family level we must fight it out. And of course, and this is a global issue at front, and we in the Pacific, we've taken a lead role in many campaigns, and we can also take a lead role in fighting violence against women and children in our own regions. The Fijian government, on behalf of the Fijian government, we applaud the target of this conference, as it covers not only the socio-economic concerns shared by many, but also the issues affecting our women and most relating to all levels of development. We know we certainly know that there is no disagreement on the barriers in achieving gender equality and empowerment of women. What will make a difference, ladies and gentlemen, is what we can do now to reduce or secure the space whereby our women, girls and children can experience violence-free relationships in their homes and away from homes. Let us start by focusing. Let us start by focusing on our society and our attitudes, because I believe that is a key factor that results in this, in the existence of violence within our communities. We in the region live in a deeply patriarchal society, and it is a blunder to believe that our societies are patriarchal because of culture. It is too simplistic for us now to blame culture for these social ills. We have to get out of that. Patriarchy exists in all societies across the world, whether you live in Cambodia, whether you live in Sudan, whether you live in Iceland, and even our Pacific. The attitude towards the women are same. And we all know that. Women are said to be weak, women are said to be emotional, women are said to talk a lot, and the list goes on. Women are said to be better suited to housework, child rearing, and meek, and like me, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Who has made the list? Now we need to think about who made that list. We have lived with that list for so long. So long we have lived with that list thinking that we are only good for rearing children, we are only good to be confined to domestic work, we are only good to... The rest is that. So basically these attitudes not only lead to violent attacks, gender discrimination, but sometimes they also prevent the justice system from dealing with the issues in a very impartial way. We'll have to accept that. Ladies and gentlemen, campaigning together, the theme, campaigning together for change and justice is not about gender, not about race, not about religion, not about abilities, not about agencies, not about sellout greed, and not about socio-economic status. It is all about us living on this planet as a family. It is all about everyone without exclusion of anyone. It's about everyone without excluding anyone. And in order to make positive changes, we all must learn to view the world through a social capital lenses. We need to work cohesively to engage in public discourse about what are common good, building alliances which works together to identify issues and agrees ways of introducing solutions that overcome the discrimination that exists within every corner of a society. Be it within your classroom, be it within your home, be it within any corner of the society. Networking, such as yours, is one of the most powerful mechanisms to engineer a consolidated platform to battle against this violence. As professionals, educators, leaders, parents, teachers, mothers, fathers, let's reach out and help our people access to services, whether it be health, whether it be education, whether it be social justice. Let me give an example. As mentioned, I've been a career civil servant for the last 23 years. I was, till I joined politics 2 years ago. I have experienced this kind of attitudes when I mean, as a woman, let's put it this way. As a woman, when you are given an administrative post, I mean, this is my personal experience, it may not apply to others in the country, but one of the questions I was asked by a principal that I served under, can you operate a motor mall? What does that have to do with my administrative role? So those are the challenges that we have, the barriers that we have within the society, not accepting women in positions where we know we can do better. We need to break that. I mean, I couldn't do much. I mean, at that point when I was civil servant, I couldn't do much. But at this position, I know that that is wrong. We cannot fight against that. What has knowing how to operate a brush cutter or operate the generator for power has to do with my administrative role? But I think women have gone further than that now. If it has to be done, I think we all can do that. But would a male administrator ask a similar question like that to another male? No. They see, I mean, from my experience in the education sector, I see the fear of letting women move forward still exists. It still exists. Mr. Singh? Yes. It still exists. Come to promotions, school managements would rather have a male principal than a woman principal. That's the truth. I'm a living testament of that, and I don't shy away from saying that. Because those are the barriers, ladies and gentlemen, we have to break if we want us to have a balance in power. Gender equality is not about surpassing men's powers. It's just about a balance in the power. And if somebody deserves it, that person should get it. So these are some of the attitudes that still exist in our communities, and we really need to work together with your recommendations, with whatever outcomes of your meeting, to see how we can further that. And of course, the onus also lies on each individual to have the desire to be successful. However, by our guidance and positive mentoring, we can have a lot of lasting impact on the people that we deal with. To the educators, not only here, but the educators across the region, I think there's one thing that we need to do is never give up on the roles and responsibilities that has been entrusted upon us to take the country forward through education policies, to look after the welfare of your children in the classroom. As policy makers, we need to make policies that are pro-gender. That's very important. And of course, we should never doubt our teachers. We should never doubt our educators, because I believe, like I said, I believe that as educators we have the right mix of talents, and being women, that talent is further strengthened, because as mothers we have that compassionate approach that can assist our children to get out of issues that they face at the home. If there is domestic violence within the home, if the mother has been beaten up the night before, you don't expect the child to be mentally stable when he or she comes to your classroom. So we need to have that approach as educators. And if you look at Fiji, the Fijian government is placing a lot of importance on education, and bulk of our budget goes towards the education ministry. We have a lot of schemes whereby we make sure that no child is left behind, because we believe that education can tackle the greatest of social problems. Education should be a trigger to change mindsets within our communities. An educated community is a well-informed community, and we can allow individuals to make sound decisions regarding issues that not only affect them, but the countries as a whole. And if we also move on towards changing mindsets, we may be campaigning together, but that campaign must target mindsets. We need to change mindsets. And within our organizations, within our communities, within our systems that we have, if we are not able to change the mindsets of our people, our leaders, our communities, I think we'll be fighting this as an endless battle. We'll keep fighting for it unless people start changing mindsets. And as a government, we have a lot of advocacy programs around these issues, where we reach out to communities, making them aware of what's happening outside the world, what's happening in the country, and how best we can tackle. Different regions, different societies will have to find out different ways of tackling this issue of that. And coming back to your networking, your Women's Network is a power force in the region in our fight to eliminate violence. And I would like to encourage you all to rise up and take up this challenge. And because I strongly believe women have what it takes to make a difference in our communities, as we often persist and get the job done. We women do that. Again, Fiji, like if I can just mention, Fiji is rated second highest in the region, and we always say domestic violence in Fiji stands at 64%, and that is labeled as a national shame. While we have a national pride coming with gold from Rio, on the other side we have something that's shameful to us. And we have our leaders in the region rising up, from our Prime Minister, from our President, from our ministers, and we always include these issues wherever we go, so that this is not a forgotten issue. Again, if you go back to living in patriarchal societies, these are taboo issues for us. We cannot talk about it. We cannot talk about it. We could never talk openly about this. Domestic violence, rape, sexual harassment, child abuse. We couldn't talk about it. Now we are speaking out, and I think that's a positive step towards accepting that there is a problem, and we have to accept that. One of the best ways to tackle any problem is to accept it. Let's not sweep it under the carpet. Let's not hide it. It's a shame, but we need to get over that. So again, if we work together, that will be a very positive move for that. And if you look at the laws that we have in the country, starting with our constitution, first and foremost, our constitution provides protection for all Fijians. We have modernized our laws. We have the domestic violence, in terms of domestic violence, we have the domestic violence decree, we have the crimes decree, we have the employment relations promulgation, we have the family law act, we have the child welfare decree, we have the sentencing and penalties decree, and of course the criminal procedures decree, which all address domestic violence. So I would say we have wonderful laws, and we now have to see that the laws are implemented and enforced, and people are aware of what rights they have in terms of addressing domestic violence issues. And of course, last year we progressed further with that. The Ministry and the Fiji Police Force, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Fiji Police Force. This is to ensure that immediate response is provided to the victims of domestic violence, and agency is given to cases when it relates to that. The Fiji Police Force here has a no-drop policy. Once a report is made, charges cannot be dropped, and we are pushing for that is implemented. And the government is now has embarked on opening up legal aid offices around the country. So the underprivileged men and women, especially men and women, have better access and understanding of the law and the legal services that is available for them. And with the ministry, we started a program in 2009 whereby the communities undergo a 10-phase training, all the stakeholders, the police, the communities, the religious organization, ministry, and we declare communities violence-free community. Over the last 2 days, last week, we declared 4 communities that have accepted that they will no longer be part of this violence attitudes. So men and women, children, everybody gets together and pledges to commit themselves to being non-violent. And we're now trying to accumulate data to see whether crime rates have dropped indeed. The presentations by the police during these 4 declarations have indeed indicated that the levels of reporting against domestic violence has indeed gone down. At one community in Navua, when we were there, Nasomo village in Tavua, the presentations from the police force indicated for the same period last year there were 8 cases of domestic violence repeated. For the same period this year there was only 1 case reported. So we are going to continue to embark on those targeting communities. From national level, now we are going down to individual communities. We're also embarking on a very important project that we call the REACH project with the Legal Aid Commission, where mobile teams from the ministry are going to go out to the remotest areas of the country, the maritime areas, the rural areas, so people know that they have access to services such as the Legal Aid Commission. And ladies, I think there will be a lot of deliberations done during your workshops. We also in Fiji have a gender-based policy that's called the National Gender Policy, and this policy has 160 activities to be undertaken by government agencies, authorities and non-governmental organizations in addressing gender inequality. And of course, if I may just say what Mr. Singh has said, increasing violence, and whether it's violence, sexual harassment, abuse, rape, is indeed an indicator of the decay of moral values. Okay, and the teachings of moral values need to start not only with schools. Many times they say, oh, why doesn't the school have moral values lesson? I believe it should start from the very basic unit that is the family. Okay. And so as educators, when you have, I used to do that, when you used to have the parent-teacher association, just try to creep this agenda into that, rather than just saying your child got A+ here, B+ there, C+ there, 4. Just try to, this is the hidden agenda in your parents' day meeting could be talking about moral values. And so all in all, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor here. And I'm sure, like your team says, campaigning together, if we all pull our resources together, if we pull our mindsets together, I'm sure each one of us has the power to make the very difference we are looking for within the region to address this social evil that is becoming a scourge for our society. So with that, with those words, Madam President and the members here, I wish you all the best in your 3-day deliberation. Please, I look forward to hearing the outcome of your deliberations, and thank you all, and may God bless. Be safe while you are here and enjoy the Fijian hospitality. Thank you very much.